Welcome to another episode of AnimeCons TV. My name is Doug Wilder. If you've been a long-time viewer of the podcast, you know this isn't where I normally record. I'm one of the people that's actually in a 14-day quarantine because I just finished some travel and came back from a country that may have had some the COVID-19 coronavirus affecting it, so I'm doing this as a precaution. And of course, affecting all news, not just conventions, is the COVID-19 coronavirus, which is pretty scary. All of us at AnimeCons TV, we hope you guys are doing well. Don't be afraid to check in. Let us know how you're doing. Let us know how you're coping, things like that. And we're just going to take a few minutes to talk about some of the things that everyone can do while this is all going on. Of course, the big part of this is many conventions have to cancel for this year or postpone if they're lucky. And it's a really kind of stressful time to be a big event organizer, not just an anime convention one. And there's a lot of things that are uncertain. But as we deal with this, there's going to be a lot of changes and things like that. And I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but the big thing that's going to help everyone out is be patient. It seems like every convention is either putting out their cancellation notice, their postponement notice, or we gotta wait and see, we're still planning it, update, things like that, and it's a lot of uncertainty. Part of the reason why you'll see a lot of conventions kind of waiting to what feels almost like last minute to cancel or postpone comes down to event insurance. It takes a lot of money to put on a convention. It's very expensive, especially the bigger the con, the more money it takes to put on. But a lot of times conventions have to wait until the venue says that they have to cancel, or like a government mandate happens. Like, for example, Anime Boston, they had to wait for kind of Massachusetts to make some more decisions and things like that. And a lot of that comes down to event insurance. If you are a con runner, you should have insurance. Many convention centers actually require it now because of things like that. And most of these organizations, a lot of them, it seems like they're making money hand over fist. They're only really making enough money to put on the event. And that's why they need the insurance, that in case something happens, so they have to wait until they can actually activate that insurance, which is a tough one, and it takes a lot of organization and making sure everything's right, because if event has to cancel, doesn't have insurance, that might be the end of the convention. And many of these cons have been around for decades now, and we'd all be really hurt. We'd rather see them take a year off than cease to be all together. So there's that. Related to that, be patient with the convention staff that you're interacting with. It takes time to figure all this out, and not everyone's going to have the right answer. And related to that, be supportive of the staff. I will speak from my own personal experience. I'm just one person on Anime Boston staff, and these opinions are my own. But when the news finally broke that Anime Boston had to cancel for this year, I looked at kind of the Facebook post announcing it and everything, and I'll be honest, I was getting misty-eyed reading all the kind words from attendees that, were saying things like, "We know it's a hard decision, but you guys are making the right one. We're going to come back in 2021. We want to see that." And that, as someone who knows how much work goes into putting on the convention and seeing it and knowing how hard it weighed on a lot of the higher ups on that, for me personally, it really did mean a lot. And I know I'm not the only staffer for Anime Boston that feels that way. So if you can, just give the words of encouragement to the convention staff wherever you can. It really does mean a lot, and it does go a long way. And speaking of being supportive, there's other ways you can do it. You can follow, if there's a vendor you specifically like, they always exhibit and they have a Facebook page, or they were planning on having a special release, and now they're just releasing that video there, a home video somewhere, making sure you're ordering it and things like that. Because some of these vendors it's their only chance to do it. Follow them. If you know that they can get a hold of something that you'd really like to order, contact them. See if you can find out a way, things like that, because it's a very tough thing. So that's one thing you can do. Another group of people you can support are artists. Artists' alleys are big at conventions, and some of these people that don't have primary gigs, like they just do this as a side thing, rely on that income, and you can maybe commission or request something from them, order a print from them. Help them out as best you can. You wish you could help everyone, but maybe you can't. But keep an eye out for ones. I think Emerald City Comic-Con did a virtual artist alley and things like that. So you can see just different ways to it, and give the support where you can. And there's also panelists. Some panelists might have little things that they rely on getting their name out and stuff like that. So if you see them presenting elsewhere, things like that, offer good words of support. If they're using their panel to promote a self-publication that they're working on, or something like that. That's another way you can do it. So follow them, research these people. A lot of these convention pages are still keeping their information of vendors and artists and panelists up, so you can still look these people up and things like that. And it's something to be aware of. Now, say you're in a situation where you are stuck at home because you want to practice social distancing, or you're under quarantine. What can you do, right? You can't go to the con anymore. What do you do? I'd say a lot of it is practice some skills. If you're a cosplayer, use this to either improve the costume you're working on, maybe to take some extra time to look at some tutorials online and learn how to do a new skill. Maybe you can order those materials that you need online to practice it, things like that. If you're a panelist, you could maybe record the panel that you were doing, or make a new one that you wanted to talk about as a way to practice it, and you can toss it on YouTube or somewhere else and share it with that. We've said before that a great way to get better at paneling is just to present. And if you can record it and maybe share it to some of your friends and get some feedback, you can make a even better version of the panel than you were planning, or get some ideas of other things you want to work on. And that's a good way to do it. If you have purchases that you've made at convention, like maybe you are someone who likes to visit the cheap manga booth or the cheap DVD booth, or you always go to that one vendor and pick up a stack of books. Maybe it's time to work on that backlog, read all those things, watch all those Blu-ray and DVD discs, things like that. If you're like me, maybe you're working on your modeling skills a little bit. I've been working on some Gundam models while I've been stuck in quarantine, and clearing out that, and told myself I'm not allowed to buy any more until I finish the ones I have. There's little things like that. If you're a video editor, you can work on practicing editing videos, things like that. If you're an artist, you can practice your drawing. Again, you should try and promote yourself to maybe have that little extra income, to do some commissions like that, but also use that time to hone your skills, things like that. There's all sorts of things that you can work on from home and still be part of the community. Related to that, if you're working on your skills, I've seen people setting up what they're calling, virtual build days. So say you all work on costumes together. It used to be like maybe every couple of weeks you got together on Saturday, everyone hung out, brought whatever project they're working on, and just chatted while they're still working. You can still do that even if you're not meeting in purpose. You can, or in person, you can set up video conferencing and just work on things like that. I've been lucky enough that I've had some friends that I've talked to just on Discord with audio chat as we're both working on model kits, and we've taken pictures and sent them to each other showing how our progress is going and things like that. So you can still connect with other members of the community even if you can't be there in person. Again, a lot of this is stuff that we're gonna have to just wait and see how it changes, everything like that. I think cons will eventually return back to normal. It'll be a long time, longer time than any of us want it to be, and it's going to be frustrating for a while. But we're going to see that. I think you're going to see a lot more events making reminders of things like, making sure you wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and hot water, things like that, and which is good life advice anyway. You should be doing that as much, but reminding people to just take care of themselves. If you're feeling sick, stay home. I know that sucks when you've been planning for a convention, but take care of yourself so you don't spread it. We all have used to joke about con plague, but some of this stuff is that's how some of this stuff spreads, unfortunately. But just take your time, be patient, be supportive of everyone in the community, from convention planners to your fellow fans to vendors. Just take care of each other, show each other support and everything like that, and let us know how you guys are doing it. If there's any tips you have found for surviving the season without conventions. I think the last time we went this long with this few conventions was in the 1980s. It's a big drop in the number of events, and it's a wild time. So if you want to share with us some of the ways that you're dealing with this, don't forget to reach out to us. You can do us at podcast@animecons.tv. Don't forget to follow us on AnimeCons TV on Twitter. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. We're all over the place. Let us know how you're doing. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk again soon, and hopefully we'll have some con reports by the end of the year that we can share with you guys. Take care.